A new area highlighted here by the National Hurricane Center, and if you've been following along this week, this is no surprise. It's a tropical wave that we are concerned about, and it will likely become a hurricane and make a westward track. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice, keeping you up to date every step of the way with what's going on right now. We've got a lot going on, including this invest that's in the middle of the Atlantic. That is actually going to carve a path, or at least change the steering currents around for this, a more formidable wave that is already splashing down into the Atlantic as we speak and will likely intensify and get better organized as it does. And this is going to be our threat right here that sits off of the African coast for days and days. Folks, we're going to have plenty of time to track this, and we're going to have to watch it very closely. If you're new to this channel, please like this video, comment in the comment section where you're watching from right now. Make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications, as I will keep you posted every step of the way. Folks, right now is not the time to cancel plans, to get hyped up at all. But you do need to stay dialed in. If we're a stoplight, we're not green. There's not a 0% chance of anything forming, but we're also not red right now. We're in the yellow. We need to wait. We need to watch. And with a measured approach, I'm going to help you get through this every step of the way. So, folks, if you like this no-nonsense approach to weather, please let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. And please subscribe to this channel. My goal, as always, is to not scare you, but to prepare you. And right now, we do need to stay dialed in on this, as the computer models do show a formidable system moving in. So as we look at the outlook, it's a little bit confusing as to what's going on here. This wave off the Carolina coast is all but kaput. It's going away. Then you've got another little wave that is right here, set to move over here. And when it does, what it's going to do is it's going to kind of impact the Bermuda High, at least allow the Bermuda High to shift a little bit. So this wave that is now, that I just showed you, that's looking pretty beefy, sitting off of the African coast, once it does splash down and move west, it has a chance to form right in here. So we've got a lot to track here, a lot to unpack as we move forward, and we've got brand new model data. I want to show you the GFS, then the European, then we'll show you the Canadian, the Icon, the rest of these as we move forward. So the midday run of the GFS shows a pretty strong system near the Cape Verde Islands moving westbound. So the key is here, whatever this little guy does, if it does anything, all it does is kind of scoot the Bermuda High over a little bit. Notice how the Bermuda High is right there. It scoots that Bermuda High over a little bit, which gives a little more of a westward push to this wave. So likely becoming a hurricane as early as Tuesday, according to this GFS model. It continues to intensify and organize as it moves toward the west. Right now, the GFS model has this moving north of you folks in the Lesser Antilles. It's a close call. It is a big hurricane. It is moving west, and right now it looks like it strengthens into a big hurricane. This would be through this upcoming week. By this time next week, we would have a system that would be trying to decide where it's going to go. Does it go west into the Gulf? Does it go toward the southeastern United States? Or does it thread that needle between the Outer Banks and Bermuda? This GFS model has shown some of it all. It has consistently shown this kind of thread in the needle between Bermuda and the Outer Banks, safely kind of going in between there. But folks, it is a monster. Cat 4, Cat 5, somewhere in that realm. Goes up close to Nova Scotia, if not making landfall, up toward the islands. This could be very interesting right here. All right, so that's the GFS model from the midday. Big hurricane moving west. Let's look for similarities in the other models. Let's look at the previous run of the GFS. All right, same spot. I flipped it over. You didn't notice because it's the same spot. Here's the earlier run of the GFS. It too goes north. Oof, very, very close to you folks in the islands. Very, very close to Puerto Rico. Anybody watching from there right now, please let me know. Dominican Republic and Haiti, we're dialed in on this for you. Again, not a time to be scared, not a time to be canceling plans, but a time to be dialed in, a time to be checking in on this as we move forward. Oh, the Bahamas. Yikes. Woo. That GFS model is not a good situation here for all the Bahamas, nor the Florida Keys. That is a big, bad hurricane. And if this were right, it would go toward the Keys and then be on its way into the Gulf. Let's zoom in on this one. I went too far. Let's see. Let's go to states. You know what? I need to just show the Caribbean. Sorry about that, folks. I clicked the wrong view here. Let's get it back. Oceanic, Caribbean. Yowza. I mean, that is a 940 low. That'd be a big one. I mean, if the GFS were right, it'd be Cat 4, Cat 5. All right, so it's just north of Cuba, going over the Florida Keys, the worst of it over the Florida Keys. This would be the following Wednesday. Now it's in the Gulf, and it's moving west toward Texas. So the GFS from earlier wants to show a very westward track. What about last night's run? It was back to that Outer Banks northeast. The overnight run actually makes it make landfall just north of New York. How about that? Let's go to the one before that. It was back to the Gulf. So it's flip-flopping. Every other run of the GFS is Gulf, southeast, Gulf, southeast. Either way, you have a strong system. Let's look at the similarities. I like to say this, folks. If we're trying to unpack this puzzle here, what are the similarities? Well, the similarities are we have a hurricane on all four, every single one of the GFS models. We have a hurricane that's near the islands by midweek. All right, so there's two things we know that are important things. What we do not know is what's the steering current like after that and where would it send those systems. We will have to watch that closely. So here we go as we move a little bit deeper into the forecast here. This is the one, the last overnight run goes right over Florida, just north of West Palm, sends it over Central Florida, and the last night's GFS run is not a good one for Florida either. Even goes over the Panhandle. Every single person in the state of Florida impacted by this hurricane, if the GFS is right. Then it goes into Alabama, Mississippi, and Arkansas. GFS is no good with that run. The most recent run, the midday run, takes it in between Bermuda and the Outer Banks, which it has shown a couple of different times. Let me just show you that earlier run, getting it close to the East Coast. Here it comes. Watch it from the south. Watch it, watch it, watch it. Here it comes. Boom. Big system just east of Cape Hatteras. Big system getting very, very dangerously close to New York City, if not getting into New York City. Goes up toward Boston. I mean, whoa. That's incredible, folks. That would be big for Maine, most of the Northeast, into the Mid-Atlantic. All right, let's look at the ensembles. Do the ensembles support one side or the other? Do they have more of a track toward the Gulf or more of a recurve? Let's look at it. All right, you're looking at all different runs. This would be 28 different runs. You have a good cluster of them. So the ensemble's like looking underneath the hood of the operational GFS. So what do the ensembles show? If you see consistency here, like you do with the models, they're all in a group, in a pack. So that's consistency. What we know is there are several of these GFS models, nearly all of them, grouped together. So that means we have timing consistency mid to late next week near the islands. Okay, got it. Mainly north of the islands. Got it. So you guys are watching and ready, but you're not by any means, freaking out or upset about this. We're watching it. All right. Where does it go from there? All right. A good amount of these want to start to show that recurve, because at that point, the Bermuda high is starting to gain its strength again because that first wave kind of weakens it. Now it's gaining its strength again, so it now has that more of a push and can try to twirl this thing around it. Does it do so? Well, according to the GFS, most of the models here are Bahamas, Cape Hatteras, eastbound. Only a few of them get into Florida, and only one or two of them get into the Gulf. So that's at least some consistency right there on the GFS. How about the one from one run ago? All right, you got a system. You got a strong system north of the islands. All right, consistency. Got it. Where does it go from there? Does it follow that kink around the high? It does. Almost all of the GFS models show a recurve outside of Cape Hatteras. Very few of them show Florida or the Gulf. All right, so maybe, just maybe, this latest run of the operational GFS that spares the southeast coast because it curves might be right. Let's look at the European. Let's unpack the latest midday run. Just fast forward it because it only gets me to a certain point. Midweek, we have a system entering stage right. Let's look at the most advanced one. Here we go. It's moving west, it's moving west, it's moving west, and it's strong. Probably a hurricane at this point, going into about a week from right now. European wants to keep it going west, but how far? Does it start to recurve? Getting very close to you folks in the Bahamas. Yowza. I mean, this is a big, bad hurricane on this model. This would be in the 10-day time frame. Whew, European getting a little too close to comfort for the southeast. European has a North Carolina landfall. Is a major Cat 4, Cat 5. All right, so the European, what do we know? Remember, folks, what do we know? What's similar here? Hurricane north of the islands, mid to late week. Got it. All right, that's about all that's similar. European wants to keep it going west, but it does show it trying to recurve. It's just too late to where it hits North Carolina. It spares Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, but it hits North Carolina and then rides up the East Coast. That would not be a good setup for the eastern United States. It would come in like this, just north of Wilmington, hit Cape Hatteras, then ride right along the coast from Norfolk, Virginia Beach, up through Washington, D.C., to New York City, to Boston. That would be a devastating storm for millions across the East Coast because it's a major, major hurricane. So the 12Z European is not a good one. But what we're seeing out of these is all the models at some form or fashion show some kind of threat heading toward the United States, whether it's close or a recurve. We've got consistency in a threat. So that's why we're dialed in. We're not freaking out. We're not worried. We're not canceling our vacations, but we're watching it to see. All right. Here's the last full run of the European from last night. All right, so this one is 2 runs ago. It shows a recurve like the GFS. Playing a little too close for comfort here as it gets close to the United States, but thankfully it does do a recurve. Tries to play chicken with Washington, D.C., but it does start that recurve. This would not leave the East Coast unscathed, but it would be a better solution. But the most recent European is onshore. Let's look underneath the hood of the European model. Let's first look at the AI European. All right, so this gives us a full run of the AI European. All right. Remember, folks, what's similar? Tropical storm or a hurricane north of the islands late week. We know that. We know that at this point. Does it curve from there or does it keep going west? Let's play it out. I don't like it already. All right, let's zoom in. You got a Cat 2, Cat 3 over the Bahamas. You got a Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, 950, 960 low over the Keys. Do you remember this one, folks? This is the same run the GFS had. Remember that one? Let's go back to it. This is the same run. I think it was the 12Z. Yep. Look at this. There's the 12Z GFS compared to the latest AI Euro. I mean, identical. Look at that. Let's pull it out. Kind of hard to see both of them. Yeah, you can't see it. But as I flipped it over, you saw it. I mean, that's crazy. Euro AI, GFS. All right, let's play it out. Euro AI sends it to New Orleans. All right, so Euro AI is not good either. This is the midday run of the AI Euro. Going like that. All right. Let's back this up one other run. This is the Euro AI morning run. All right, looks like it's trying to recurve. Bahamas-ish, very close to Florida. You would at least have some, because it's a Cat 4, Cat 5, you would at least have some strong winds, but you'd be on the west side. But boy, this would churn up the water. I mean, this would be beach erosion city here from Florida up through the Carolinas. Big bad hurricane. Cat 4, Cat 5, just about 200 miles offshore of Myrtle Beach, very close to Wilmington. Is it a landfall over Cape Hatteras? It's very close. All right, that's the Euro AI, last 2 runs. Let's look at the European ensembles. Like last time, we're looking for clusters. Got consistency of timing here, late week. Okay, let's advance this out just a little bit more. Here we are, consistency, recurve. Looks like a recurve. A lot of these are Bermuda-ish. Some of them are a little close, but the biggest density of them are east of Cape Hatteras. Close call, though. Let's look at the ensemble locations. You're looking at 51 different runs of the European. Consistency, got a group of them, same place, same time. Then they start to spread. That's what you don't want to see. A lot of them showing a recurve right here. Some of them are westward. Got a few of them, probably 5 out of 50, so 10% of them go here. Probably 50 to 60% of them are in here, with 30, 40 of them here, 30%. All right. Let's look at the Euro AI ensemble. So you saw the Euro AI earlier. This is Euro AI ensemble. Looks like a pretty solid recurve. Got a few of them here over Florida. So if you see an average of all the Euros leaning one way or the other, it gives you more confidence that they're probably going to turn. All right. Let's look at that average of them all. Formation, pretty well locked in, folks. I mean, this thing may form pretty quickly after splashing down. Goes near the Cape Verde Islands, and it really takes off right in here. So Euro ensemble, already starting that little curve right there. You see how that's, if I were to trace that out even a little bit more, it'd be kind of right in there. All right, let's look at the latest tracks. Let's zoom out. So here we have it, starting here, kind of going around this Bermuda high. See the high right there? That's what steers this whole thing. Stays relatively in check. Doesn't have a way to really take off till it gets to warmer water. But boy, when it rounds that bend, look at all these pinks, purples. Those are 100 mile per hour winds or greater. Now, you see these L's starting to turn. We're not quite into the wheelhouse of the European ensembles here to where it goes out a little further. I wish it did. But you're kind of in this wheelhouse right here. Zoom in. Where a lot of these are starting to turn. Bermuda, Cape Hatteras. Do they go in between? Are the trajectories of these too far west to where it's hard to turn, like a Matthew, where it starts to turn, but it's a little too late, so it scrapes up against the whole coast? You know, anything's possible. But I am concerned about all the bright colors I see in here. The bright colors, according to this key right here, are 100 mile per hour winds or more. How about the icon sniffing something out? What does it say? It's got a system. It's got it midweek. So there's consistency on the German model. For what it's worth, the German model has a very strong hurricane north of the islands. And from there, that's as far as we can go on the German model. Let's look at the Canadian model. It's got energy there. It's not real organized. There it goes. Canadian model is a little further west than the European, but also a little weaker. Right in there. So that's kind of the way things are shaping up on the models, folks. Again, we know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. Isn't that great for a meteorologist to say? But I'm being honest. When we're looking at trends, when we're looking at what could be happening or could be coming in, we have to look closer at the pattern. And the pattern is there for us to see something try to form. What that is looks to be a hurricane, looks to be north of the Windward and Leeward Islands by the time we get to this time next week. Beyond that, we don't really know where it's going to go, but we know there is something to track and there is something we need to be watching. So, folks, I want to know where you're watching from right now. Each and every day, I'm looking at your comments, I'm reading your comments, and it makes my day to know that so many of you are watching and trusting my forecasts wherever you are in the world. And that means the world to me, because as a meteorologist that has spent my career trying to warn people of severe weather, I want to know where you're watching from. I got Mississippi Gulf Coast here. Chris, thank you for not peddling the bad stuff. No distractions here. So some of your comments that you're sending me are so heartfelt. I mean, let me pull up a new one here. Let's just go to what we're watching right here. As I pull up last night's video, please take the opportunity to go ahead and, here it is, to go ahead and show me what you have in your neck of your woods. What's your weather been like here? Comment in the comments section, and I've got our comment up right here. There we go. All right, who do we got in the house? We got Lydia watching from Central Florida. Thank you for not being an alarmist and just keeping it real. You bet, Lydia. That's the key in these type things. Slow, steady reports. I'm not going to hype anything. I'm going to shoot you straight, though. When it is time to be concerned, I hope you take me seriously. And that's always been my goal in TV. People will say by default this channel is hype. No, it's not. The whole point of my channel is to give you an early warning of severe weather. You're here to watch that. You're here to understand that. So if you appreciate that no nonsense and that early approach to it, it takes some responsibility. It's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be alerted that something could be forming 10 days out, because how many of those storms do not form? A lot of them. And I'll tell you that. I'll be the first to tell you that. But if you like weather, if you're impacted by weather, if your job depends on weather, your career, your business, then you need to stay tuned to what's going on. Rose watching from Sarasota, get up and watch you every morning. You're a pleasure to watch. To be until touchdown, wherever it may be. Absolutely, Rose. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Love that you wake up and watch. You kind of have a routine going there, and you can bet I'll keep you posted along the way. Central Florida's here. Thank you so much, Chris. Central Florida. I got another one. Central Florida. One of the best voices, solid forecasting. Finally found a good meteorologist to tune into every day. Brian, thank you so much for making my day. We got Baytown, Texas in the house. Thanks for your updates. Hey, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, sir, watching from the Caribbean in Trinidad. All right, Suzette, thank you for watching. Coastal Georgia's in the house. Excellent video. We need to watch this next wave and the rain in the foothills of North Carolina. You and me both, Steve. Yeah, I am watching it very closely. We don't want anything coming this way. God bless you and your family as well. Thank you, Chris, for keeping us aware. You're very welcome. Thanks for keeping us alert, says Mark. Satellite Beach, Florida in the house. Stephen watching. Hollywood, South Carolina in the house. Charlotte's in the house. Thank you. Myrtle Beach, Miami, Melbourne, Florida. Jasper, Florida. Watching from Orlando. Hi, Penny. Fort Prince, Florida. Fort Myers Beach, Florida. You rock, Chris. Thank you for keeping us informed, safe, and up to date. I put 100% trust in you. Kimberly, thank you. That means the world. Chris from Orlando. Hi, thank you. Monique, sure appreciate you watching. Supposed to go to Port St. Joe August 16th. You got some time. I think if this were to be, it would be after the 20th for the United States. So I think you got a little bit of time, but certainly stay dialed in. Tampa, Florida, definitely watching the models every day. Thank you so much. Tampa Bay in the house. Let me translate this to English. Your explanations are effective. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Marison. I think I said that right. Marison, you're very welcome. Thank you for the heads up in Galveston County, Texas, not far from the Gulf. We will keep you posted there, Ronald Parker. Belton, South Carolina in the house. Houston, Texas. Barbados, we look out for it next week. Yes, you do, and we will keep you posted as well. Barbados in the house. Thank you for watching. Please tell your friends and family, and I'll keep you posted all across the islands. What else we got? California, just headed to Florida to jump on a cruise Monday. Very helpful information. We'll keep you posted for that cruise. Yeah, definitely not a cancel your plans type thing yet. This has plenty of potential to do that curve, and I hope that it does, but it means we need to watch it. Timmonsville, South Carolina. Newport Richey Coast. Debbie says, I like very much that you do a broad look out because I kind of look as for as much warning as I can get, whether it comes from Mobile or not. I just really like you as a person who seems down to earth. Debbie, thank you. That means a lot. I really appreciate it. You know, I do this for my family. I like to help other families out as well. Let you know what's coming in. Fort Myers, still in recovery, 100%. Ian was devastating. We hope you never get anything like that. Barbados in the house. Outer Banks in the house. All right, let's see if I can say this right. I'm in Pascagoula. I say that right? Pascagoula, located near the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Haven't had a storm since I was wiped out by Katrina. I feel like an escapee from the averages. James, it's been all around you, that's for sure. Hope it stays around you. Hope it stays all around you, not near you. All right. We got Calabash, North Carolina in the house. Hi, Joy. Philippines watching right now. I love watching the weather from the U.S. Well, thank you, Ronald Arnold. Dunnell in Florida in the house. First-time watcher, retired U.S. Air Force meteorologist. Excellent, well-done presentation. Man, that means the world to me, Rod Nix. Thank you so much, and thank you for your service. You being in the U.S. Air Force, you know 100% how detailed some of these forecasts have to be, and that's my goal, whether I'm on TV or on here, is to give that detail and to, you know, talk about what we do know, not what we don't know. So many will speculate about, oh, it could be this, and it certainly could, and I'm going to tell you if it's going to be possible strong one, but I like to focus on what I know and tell you what I don't know along the way. All right, Arno Farms, Florida, Jacksonville, North Carolina. We got St. Vincent in the house, Vero Beach, New Orleans in the house, Philippines, Topsail Beach, North Carolina, Northeast Florida, Montreal, Canada, going to the Dominican Republic next week. I will be following closely. Thank you. Yeah, you keep following along, and I'll keep you posted. St. Augustine in the house, Mississippi Gulf Coast. We got Myrtle Beach. I do depend on Ed Pietrowski for my local weather and you for the bigger picture. Keep up the great work. Chipper, you bet. Ed's one of a kind. I sincerely support you watching him. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, watching from Conway. Sarasota, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida. Florida, the Bahamas cruise on the 20th. All right, Mark, we'll be watching it for you. I would not cancel anything at this point. Keep it on. Watching and following from Homestead, Florida. Thank you for no theatrics. Just what we need to watch closely. I have Florida beach plans on the 19th. Do I need to cancel? Not at this point. Definitely not. Chris, would you consider changing your computer mouse color to one that can be followed and picked up on earlier as a loud neon green? I use that on my PC and it really helps. Yeah, let me see what I can do. Joe retired. I will see if I can find a kind of a bigger, I think there is a function I can use for that. So I'll dig into that. Thank you. Good idea. Great idea. That way when I'm pointing, I can show you a little better. When do you release these videos? Usually around midnight, depending on when the new models come in. So you're getting the latest full runs of the models most of the time you're watching these. What does the current storm situation look like? Hoping for a calm ocean. Which model is projecting into Myrtle Beach? You know, the GFS showed a couple of runs yesterday. Today, the European. Depends on which model you're watching. They're flip-flopping, and they will. Here in Mount Pleasant, would we be impacted if the models adjust or refine the projections? Time to raise my attention one notch. Thank you for your work. We'll keep you posted. Puerto Rico always takes one of these the third week, hoping not for another Maria. 100%. Maria was so devastating. One of the storms that's kind of ingrained in my brain. Have a road trip to Panama City August 23rd. I'm thinking I should be canceling. No, don't cancel yet. No, definitely too soon to cancel. This thing is very much possibly a recurve, but you definitely need to be staying tuned, okay? Don't just check out for a while. Hello, sir. I'm from St. Augustine, Florida. I hope you were okay. I'm a warrior. I generally care for everyone, if that's even possible. It doesn't bring me joy to see terrible things on the TV internet. I am a strange person. I am definitely scared getting a hurricane. Amen. Have a nice day. Hey, Jolie Gibson, no need to be a worrier. I always say if you're worrying, you're not trusting God, right? In this case, certainly something could be on the way. But at the same time, this could kind of thread the needle and not hit anybody on land. I like to say be prepared, not scared as well. It's one of those things where the more information you have that you're armed with, the better off you'll be and the safer you'll be. So my goal is to arm you with that information and keep you posted along the way. Luckily in coastal Maine, kind of unlucky in that way. Yeah, Maine's been in the cone a couple of different times here. Watching from South Florida, wondering which one's going to be true. We don't favor F-name storms in eastern North Carolina. Fran, Floyd, Florence, 100%, Ashley. You are right about that. I love watching your channel. Thank you for keeping us informed. Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Shout out to you. Port St. Lucie, Florida. Valdosta, Surfside Beach. I like this. Joe Retired says, you're right to attach a flag to the flagpole, but not raise the flag yet. Time for people to check supplies, generators, and for readiness. 100%. Coming from a military man right there. 100%. Davenport, Florida. Cordell, Biloxi, Palm Coast, Florida. India in the house. Gibsonton, Florida. Southport, North Carolina. Greenwood, South Carolina. Kinley, North Carolina. Boynton Beach, Florida. Suffolk County, Long Island, New York. Conway, South Florida. Windsor, New Braunfels, Texas. South Texas. North Carolina, upcoming cruise in 2 weeks. Palm Bay's in the house. Hilton Head Island in the house. What will hit during hurricane season? We're trying to figure that out. Watching from Plant City, Florida. Do I have a favorite model? European. 96 in the house. Fort Lauderdale, Greenwood, Louisiana, Western North Carolina, Coastal North Carolina. Dominica in the house. Alabama, Enterprise, Mobile, Daytona Beach, West Union, New York. Asheville, North Carolina, Sedona, Greer. Let me translate this. Greenville. All right, folks. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. We'll have another update tomorrow with much more on the tropics and what's coming in.